So here is,
I can still hear you. I'll go grab mine.
yeah, here's my 416
Uh-oh.
upper, and it is set up for like a salter configuration or whatever. I do have a backup iron on there. Uh, Flashlights over here. I stole the tail cap off for a different build, but you can see where the plug is, and the tape switch is Gorilla Glued down here at 6 in between in this rail gap. That gives me a click on capability, which I like with my flashlights without having to use the extended button on the back Surefire, which I think is absolutely the most durable and reliable. It's the most fallible of your setups, but ergonomically, it's not the cleanest because the tail cap is just big and fat, right? Um, so this takes me all the way back to the 90s when I had the first Surefire, universal tactical lights. People call it 6P, whatever. Uh, it was tape switch only, and we did ambushes, and we ambushed a 5-ton truck, a military 5-ton cargo truck. That thing is high enough up that you have to basically hop and put one foot on the trailer hitch and grab the back lip and like do like a muscle up to be able to see in the back of this truck. Or you have to send a private up there, like the light machine gunner, have him set his machine gun on bipod and get on all fours, and then you run and jump on his back plate to be able to clear into the back of that truck. So whether I'm on a private or balancing on the trailer hitch, my front arm is holding onto the tailgate to support my weight up there. And this is something that I would obviously clear with a pistol if I had one. Did not have a handgun for the first 10 years of my career, other than when I was a machine gunner, and I had it as a sidearm. So the ability to activate the white light as you're mounting your hard cover and then come up over and be able to scan. Later on in life, when I was ushering around non-combatants, uh, a lot of times we would use white light because they did not have night vision capability. So if we were establishing a cordon, if we wanted people to egress out of a structure in a certain way, we would have to post up crossing guards at all the intersections to keep the flow of people going. And that involved having the white light on. So I want the ability to take my front hand off of the weapon and touch people, physically grab them. No, you need to go down these stairs now. You need to keep moving to the next guy with the light. Ma'am, let me help you with that bag, like whatever, without losing that white light spill that's coming off the gun light. Yeah, you have helmet lights and all that other shit. But when you start using helmet lights, now you're shining light in everybody's face unless you've got it set up for umbrella. Umbrella lighting doesn't work outside.
Yeah.
If I'm out on a fucking like an airstrip somewhere in the darkness out on the tarmac, the splash of the light off the concrete is going to be better than light shining up into nowhere. So this is how I preferred to have my stuff back in the day. Although, since we are talking about ergos, you'll notice I had a pick section here, and this was actually from when I was messing around a little bit with clip-ons, but for the shorty, not as much. Normally, clip-ons were on 14.5 type gun, but I experimented with this alternate mounting location based off of one of my supervisors. Actually, he had his laser mounted off to the side for no particular reason, and I asked the boss, like, yo, what are you, why are you doing this thing that you're doing? And he opted to use the Surefire double tape switch, and he had it mounted 12 o'clock up here with a lead going into the laser and a lead going into the light. And he goes, watch this. And he said, right-handed shooter, right hand only. Barricade, light, laser. Hard side of cover, light, laser. Switch shoulders, light, laser. Hard side of cover, light, laser. So whether it's C-clamp or thumb forward, regardless of what shoulder you were using, you had both access to your white light and your laser from that supported, that covered supported firing position. And he absolutely made perfect sense. Like I was fully picking up what he was putting down. What I was not picking up was the change to point of aim, point of impact on the laser. I did not like having my laser below bore and having to completely change where I was offset holding for like facial headshots for low percentage stuff. So now I'm having to hold laser spot in the cheek in order to hit a guy in the bridge of the nose instead of putting it up on his eyebrow to hit him bridge of the nose or between the eyes if I applied a little bit of import cant on the pack and was able to get, the emitter over bore when it was top mounted. So that was an example of, just a really, really good thought out ergonomics. But like anything else with gun setup, there's no free lunch. And for me, relearning all of those reps of where to hold the laser at CQB distances in order to thread the needle on low percentage shots, I did not want to relearn all those neural pathways. So I went back to having my laser up at 12 o'clock, at least on my assault gun. So if there was no compelling reason to make it go someplace else, then that's where I'd want it. Slide over bore, and now I'm dealing with the same vertical offset as I would with a red dot for that type of engagement. So another controversial thing ergonomics wise is hand stops. There are people that absolutely hate hand stops. They think that they're a gimmick. You don't need them for mechanical advantage, whether that be recoil management or whatever. And I would somewhat concur with that you don't need a hand stop. You cannot shoot faster splits with a hand stop than you can without a hand stop. It's not giving you that type of performance boost. What I do like about having hand stop is if I have to take my hand off my gun, which I've already said I do a lot to manipulate the environment, talk on a push to talk, help an old lady upstairs, do whatever. If I need to rapidly mount the rifle again, where my gloved hand lines up on this rifle can be inconsistent, especially if the rifle is just hanging free from my 2-point sling, and now I need to snatch the rifle up and use it immediately. And so the hand stop for me creates an index point where my ergos are going to be the same. If I grab and index the gun with my pinky on that hand stop and I roll it over, my thumb is over the actuating button of that pack to be able to turn it on quickly and rapidly. So the hand stop was consistency of the lateral placement of my hand along the rail. Another thing that a hand stop can do for you is a little bit of recoil management in terms of being able to load something, load up on a piece of hard cover. For that exact same reason, though, being able to use this as a lip to load on the back of a wall or the ledge or whatever, you'll see a lot of people that shoot 3-gun do not like hand stops because they want to have the maximum flat surface under that rail to be able to lay it across that nice, big, wide, flat blue barrel lid. That is one of the most common obstacles that you will see in that type of action shooting. And why would you want to teeter-totter your rifle on top of a hand stop when you can have all of that intimate contact with the maximum amount of the rifle in contact with your hard cover to minimize your wobble zone and all of that. So you've got to balance what are you propping your gun on in real life, how thick or wide is it, and how wide is your handguard? And then where along that handguard are you placing a hand stop at? Kyle Lamb was one of the last guys to ditch the front grip, and he had that front grip on his weapon specifically to hook it on the bench of a Little Bird helicopter. So when he straddles that thing and he catches that front G grip on it, he can either hook it and pull back to get stability, or he can bring the nub to the top flat surface and load down on it based on the angle of attack coming in on the helicopter to the target area to be able to hit guys as they're starting to displace and move to positions of tactical advantage. So again, there's a specific context where if you just take the prevailing winds of the day, which is hand stops are quirky and they're just that's just capitalism 101 in the gun community. It's a solution looking for a problem, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. As long as you know what your gear is doing and why you have it on there, If you can articulate why you're doing something, then I have less of a problem with it. For example, my coworker with his laser on the side, everything institutionally that I knew said that that was a bad idea. So I just wanted to know why. Like, explain to me, you're a seasoned guy with a lot of experience, a lot of training, a lot of whatever. Why have you come to a completely different solution than I have about where your laser should be on your gun? And he had a good explanation for why. It's just not one that I was willing to embrace. So